That's just in a way shocking. And that's part of the sort of misinformation that's out there. And, frankly, we should expect better of the medical community, that the medical community blew it on opioids. They were terribly taken in by these opioid companies and prescribed far too many opioids. And now they're missing it on e-cigarettes and non-combustibles where their patients lives could be saving. There are some in the medical community and some of the state medical societies that are really doing good work on this, but there's so many that are not.
A.G. Miller, in part one of our conversation, we discussed your tobacco scorecard, and the data is eye-opening. It shows that in 2024, the U.S. reached its lowest adult smoking rate in 75 years, the lowest youth smoking rate in 50 years, the lowest youth use of any tobacco product in 50 years, and the lowest youth vaping rate in a decade. How extraordinary are these numbers, and what do they tell us about where the country really stands in the fight against smoking?
The numbers are really pretty extraordinary when you stop and think about that. That 9.5% of adults using combustibles, 25 million, down from 36 million 6 years ago. E-cigarettes, up to 21 million from 10 million 6 years ago. And kids having this enormous drop in e-cigarette use. And more significantly, and even bigger drop, of course, in combustible use. This is all good news. This is something we should be celebrating, and it should be something for the dialogue. And also, it shows that there's a real core of non-combustible use that's very valuable. And as you attack them, and policymakers trying to change that, there's a real cost in doing that. That if they're successful, some of those people that will give up non-combustibles will go back to combustibles and their death. So I think it's really important that policymakers understand that this progress has been made. If we try and pull it back, there's enormous loss. If we try and push it ahead, there's enormous gains in saving lives that we can do.
So, I mean, how big of a role did e-cigarettes play in achieving these wins?
Well, it's hard to say. I mean, and for some reason, there's not a lot of good studies on this. And I think the CTP should be funding studies like that to show the relationship, so we know. Our suspicion is they don't want to because they're afraid that it's going to be bad news for them, bad news for prohibitionists, which almost certainly would be the case. But when you have this dramatic drop in combustibles and dramatic rise in e-cigarettes, there has to be some relationship, and I think there should be a good study on that. Same thing about kids. At one point the highest e-cigarette rate among kids and the lowest combustible rate. There clearly was a relationship. So I think that CTP should be funding sort of studies like that, and funding studies like in Japan. That I'm aware of a study that indicates that there's been a dramatic drop in combustibles, dramatic rise in e-cigarettes, and a significant drop in heart disease. And they're very careful to say that's correlation, not causation. CTP should be all over that and see if there's causation. Likely there would be. These are the kinds of things that they should be doing.